Greetings, Cleveland, and welcome to Conversations with Cal, the show that initiates engaging conversation. I'm your host, Cornell Calhoun III, and I'm thrilled to have as my guest from the Friendly Inn Settlement, the president and CEO, Ms. Yolanda Armstrong, and board president, Mr. Robert L. Bankston. Robert, Yolanda, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Let's start a conversation.
All right.
I have to say that I grew up at 2158 East 43rd Street between Cedar and Central. Now, East 43rd is a one-way street. So if you go north from Cedar to Central, you run right into Unwin Road. Mm-hmm. And the reason why I mention that is because as a young boy, I was in and out of the Friendly Inn in the summertime every day. I played baseball there. I played for the Red Sox. And every year we would play the Giants for the championship. Now, I'm not going to tell you the results of that game, but I will tell you that my first athletic coach was Mr. John Saxon from the Friendly Inn. So those are some great memories. Give a brief history of the Friendly Inn settlement.
Okay. Well, as you know, we're celebrating 150 years of service. We started back in 1874 under the Women's Temperance Union. When they thought of the Friendly Inn settlement, it was a place for immigrants to come, to be able to come to a sobering environment where they can meet, find family members, job training skills, learn how to box, after school programming, things of that nature. But then probably around the 30s, 40s, it became the first integrated settlement house in the nation. And then as times changed and those people who were immigrants that came here, trying to rub two nickels together to succeed right here in Cleveland, Ohio, they began to move out of that community. And when they moved out into the suburbs, the area changed. And that's when you saw a majority of African Americans moving in the area, veterans and others, because they were in need. By that time, the housing complexes had been built, known as the projects, but CMHA.
Right.
They began building. And because of that fact, a lot of places, different people began to focus on the CMHA housing estates. And during that time period, Friendly Inn was going through its transition because you remember the Huff riots, the issues that when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. came here, Friendly Inn was right there in the heart of all that was happening during that time period. And we were trying to go in a positive direction that would continue to provide social services for families. And that's what we've moved into today. Honestly, we're addressing issues that relates to maternity and maternal and infant health, addressing issues related to food insecurity, making sure our young people stay out of juvenile court. If they go there, it is to volunteer to help of service, not to be a resident of the juvenile court system. Our goal is to provide strong after-school programming for our young people, encourage them and direct them when it comes to career pathways. So we have an HBCU trip that we do every year to encourage our young people to want to go to college. And then we also have a new program that we just started where we're encouraging our young girls to look at opportunities that are non-traditional, like construction, manufacturing, and becoming an architect.
Is that Rosie's Girls?
Yes, it is Rosie's Girls. Yes.
What is the core mission of the organization, would you say?
Well, our mission is to improve the quality of life by cultivating, planting, and nurturing individuals, families, and communities to be productive in society, in this world economy. Our goal is to uplift and give people a sense of hope, and knowing that just because you live here doesn't mean you have to stay here. You can get the services here, help grow and move forward, and move into other areas where you can also succeed.
What do you say the Friendly Inn's impact is on Cleveland, the Cleveland community, and specifically the Central Avenue area?
So I'm going to tell you what people tell me. Okay. And these are the residents. These are the people that have utilized our services. Ms. Armstrong, I feel good when I come here. It's safe. I like when I can have my kids come here while I'm at work because I know they're in a safe environment. Y'all gonna take good care of them. With the school district, they love the fact that they know the kids, when they get out of school, they come right over to our building. They know that they're in a safe area. When it comes to maternal and infant health, we have a lot of mothers. I don't know if you know this, Cal, but we have the worst infant mortality rate in the country right here in Ohio. And so Friendly Inn is one of those organizations that's trying to address those issues and decrease the number of Black mothers and Black babies from dying. And so we have a Moms First program that addressed that issue. And then we have other programs like Parents as Teachers and Help Me Grow, because then once the kids are born, then we want to help our parents be able to keep their children by making sure they're providing a safe environment, that they're a part of the positiveness of helping their children to grow in the community.
What kind of feedback do you get about the organization from the people, from the residents in the area?
I feel action speaks louder than words. You come to our building at any given time and you see people coming in and out. Thankful that the services are right there, convenient. They can walk right across the street. Many of my staff who are home visitors, they can walk across the street and go visit families and sit down with them and go over teaching them how to play with their kids. We have great community partners, which has been a blessing. And so I hear staff as well as residents say how good it is to have a baby massage program right here at our agency, where we have a community partner that basically hosts that event. We have community partners such as the Western Reserve Area Links, who comes in and focuses on health and wellness. And they're going to be one of the people that this year will be honored at our gala.
How do you approach the fundraising aspect? Because fundraising is so important for nonprofits. So.
Yeah. Not only is it important, but it's very hard right. Because everybody is vying for the same dollars. And so for our organization, majority of our funds are reimbursable grants. And what I mean by that is meaning that it can only go specifically for what we do. But when it comes to the infrastructure of our building, inside and outside, then we have to look at fundraising, reaching out to do some type of capital improvement, having good board members that support the vision of raising funds for our organization. And so having different events like the gala that we're having this year. And as well as donations. Donations are very, very important. And we know everybody's not rich. And so just $5, $10, we will accept those donations because we know that it's going to change the lives of the kids that we're serving as well as the adults.
How do you motivate your staff and volunteers? I mean, I know the organization is iconic. I participated in it. I mean, I don't think anyone in my neighborhood didn't know Friendly Inn or hadn't been in there at a particular time. How do you motivate your staff to understand the legacy of this organization?
Well, first of all, we hire some of the people that lived in that community. And so right there, we have people who either have gone back to school or people just have the desire to serve. And so many people that work for us come from the community. I started in the community. I was born and raised in Central and Longwood.
Longwood.
Yes. And I lived there till I was 4, but there were still family members that stayed behind that stayed until the last 5 or 10 years that lived in the area. And so when you're talking about staff, the first thing I do is make sure that I meet the new staff that come on board and talk about the mission and vision. And any one of my staff should be able to tell you, oh, Ms. Armstrong, there is only one agenda, and that is to serve the people in this community.
We had a saying in Longwood, because I had a lot of friends that lived in Longwood. If you're not from or live around Longwood, you wouldn't understand. So what are your visions for the future for Friendly Inn?
So let me say this. Before I give you my vision, I need to tell you about a woman who was the longest executive director for Friendly Inn, and that was Geraldine Burns. And we stand on the shoulders of Geraldine because it was her vision that allowed us to have the opportunity to have the 41,000 square foot building that we're in right now, Cal. So that's important for me to mention that. I want to carry on her vision. The one thing I knew about Geraldine is that she also had an affinity to seniors. And so when I came to the agency about 6 years ago, I noticed we weren't doing a lot with our seniors. Right before COVID, I had just built a relationship with the state as well as with, at that time, Congresswoman Marsha Fudge. And the goal was to get funding so that we can provide more senior programming at the agency. But unfortunately, COVID hit.
Right.
We had just had our luncheon. The goal was to have a quarterly luncheon for our seniors and find out what it is they want. So that's the other thing I want to tell you. A lot of our program that we have is not something we made up. It's because we went to the people and we asked them, what is it that you think you need most help with? And it's all about focusing on what the people want and then creating those programs that funders will fund and meet the needs of the folks in the community. And so that's what we were trying to do with our seniors. And some of the things I heard was chair yoga. They wanted to come back and do their knitting group again. They wanted to come back and learn line dancing. And those were the last words I heard before COVID hit. And so now as we fast forward, we're doing things slowly but surely right now for our seniors until we get some type of funding that's going to support us. So I've met with the county, with the adult services, senior adult services, and we're talking about what can we do to work together? What can we do to partner to get more seniors from becoming isolated in their apartment buildings? And so right now, one of the things we're doing is in partnership with Councilman Starr. It's the Hot Meal Seniors Program. And so I tell you, last year we had to feed over 1,000 meals to just folks that 1 month in November before we kicked off and started feeding 150 seniors each month at a different housing complex. And so we are still doing that right now. We'll probably need more funding for next year, for sure, because we're coming to the close of that. But it was something that the seniors love. And we want to continue that, but we also want to get them out of isolation. And so we're trying to now do some programming around our seniors so that they'll come out and come to the facility, to our agency. We have a special room that will be dedicated to them that Geraldine Burns had way back when. And so we're looking forward to that. So seniors definitely is one. The other thing is expanding. Rosie's Girls this year, we're expanding to the West Side. So we're looking forward to being able to bring our Hispanic sisters right along with us as our young ladies learn about other issues or other opportunities that relate to construction, manufacturing, and architecture. So we're excited about that. But just want people to know that Rosie's Girls is for all girls between 6th and 8th grade, no matter what color they are, no matter what background they come from. We are licensed to serve all of our young girls in Cuyahoga County.
Don't you have a program, I think it's called Parents as Teachers?
Yes.
Talk about that a little bit. I was fascinated
So
by
Parents as Teachers is one of our home visiting programs. And this is where we have staff that come in and work with the parents and helping to teach them. I mean, let's be real. A lot of us have had kids and didn't know anything about how to raise them. Many of us come from backgrounds where kids were kind of like learning how to grow on their own because maybe the mom wasn't at home or the dad wasn't in place. Not learning how to work with developmental toys and games. And so the home visitors come in and help moms with that. Help them to, number one, identify if there's something wrong with their child. We'll make sure we get the services that's needed for that child. Being able to bridge that relationship with a mother and a child. Because a lot of times we get young people who are young, 15, 16 years old, that have no clue about being a parent. We have people in their 20s and 30s that'll tell you they have no clue about parenting. But with Parents as Teachers, we're able to show them how to do that.
That's such an appropriate title too. Parents as Teachers. Robert, let me get you in here. What's the most rewarding thing about being president of the board at Friendly Inn, would you say?
Not so much being president, just being a part of the whole movement. Everywhere I go, somebody's talking about Friendly Inn. As I show up this morning, you tell me about Friendly Inn. It's being able to, you ask to be I ask to be a blessing, but sometimes the blessing is being present. So being present as a part of the board, being present as far as watching all the personalities come together to make that good gumbo to be able to serve it to the community. Back to what Ms. Armstrong was saying about the mission. The goal is to be able to take those plants that we cultivate and move them and then watch them grow as the years go by and watch those trees sprout and the branches grow out. And the last 5 years, I've seen a lot of different changes, but that's 5 years out of 150. So 145 years, I wasn't a part of that. So
Right.
I'm blessed and honored just to be in the presence of Friendly Inn and all the people that it has affected. And not one person has said anything questionable or it's just, this is my experience, and they're going to tell the story. So just being a part of the board as a whole, working with a group of people that have the same movement together where we're not pulling. Now, the good thing about people, everybody has a different idea. You take those ideas together and you push it forward for the movement. And that's exactly what we're doing. Ms. Armstrong talked about Ms. Burns. Mrs. Burns, I never got a chance to meet her, but just listening to the stories and listening to the HBCU trips and the Disney World trips and how many people actually came from the community that have those trees that we talk about sprouted up, and now they're bringing their leaves back to be able to bless Friendly Inn. So that's the blessing in the whole, just being a part of that.
You know what's interesting is that, and this is just my opinion, and I'm gonna run this by you, Ms. Armstrong. There's a difference between running an organization and running an iconic organization. What kind of pressure, if any, do you feel after being bestowed with the job of being the president of Friendly Inn Settlement?
Well, first of all, I feel very honored to be the president of Friendly Inn. When I was working on my master's degree, you could not have told me that during that time period when I was reading about settlement houses and I read about Friendly Inn that I would end up running it.
Wow.
I've been blessed to run 2 African-American organizations. I also was past president of the Phyllis Wheatley Association.
Oh no, the Phyllis Wheatley. I live right across the street from the Phyllis Wheatley.
And so the blessing for me is being able to serve our people, being able to advocate for our people. When I think of iconic, I think of people who have gone before us, who set that foundation for an organization like Friendly Inn. I'm learning as I get the history from various people, all the phenomenal people that kept those doors open. If you know anything about Friendly Inn, you know it's a small agency, but with a big heart.
Right.
We are there for whatever needs that need to be met for our families. And if we can't meet them, we go out and find it. For example, a lot of people don't know that we have a relationship with the county, that the SNAP program, because after COVID, they are now in our building once a week from 8:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Thursdays, trying to help people either get back on SNAP or to get redetermined or be able to address those needs when it comes to the SNAP. What people don't know is that this organization, when the lights went out and it affected a lot of areas, well, it affected our people too. The blessing was so many different organizations that came together to bring food, and they did it right there at Friendly Inn. Unfortunately, when we have those tragic moments, because I like to say everything is great, but it's not. I mean, we go through a lot in the area in which we're in, but that goes for a lot of other areas as well. But when we hear of a child that has lost their life from whatever, 9 times out of 10, if they've came through Friendly Inn, mom's gonna call us to say, hey, I need your help. And so we have had, unfortunately, the opportunity to have to host some memorial services and some repasses right at our building because families couldn't afford to do that. And so when we talk about the future of Friendly Inn, when you asked me that question, so many things came in my mind. But I want to be able to set aside funding to be able to help those families as well. When I mentioned to you about reimbursable grants, the infrastructure of our organization has to be safe. And in order to do that, it takes dollars to do that. And so those unrestricted funds are so important to us right now. And that's why we're doing this fundraising.
Okay.
Because when Geraldine Burns had the vision to build this building, I think the building is worth, $5 million? She had to raise that money. And I know for a fact that she cried. She put her blood, sweat, and tears into raising those dollars to build this building for the families in that community. And so having that opportunity to be passed that baton to keep it going, first of all, big shoes to follow, but I have my own shoes and I'm moving in a direction that I know is pleasing to her. Because I remember when I took the job as a consultant, she called me the very next day and said, "Isn't God funny? I wanted you to have this position 6 years ago, and here, God have you here now because he knew you'd be the person that was going to take it where it needed to go." And so, unfortunately, she passed away a year later. But I want to keep her dream going because this was her dream, but it's one that I believe in because we're both social justice warriors.
Right.
So we believe in serving our people. We believe in making sure that our people have what they deserve. And as you know, with a lot of, we have a lot of DEI people out here, but I mean, truly, 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 in order to serve our people, we also have to break down those barriers that exist that are keeping our people from getting the best health care, the best education. We have to break those barriers down. And so if our people can't speak, then somebody has to speak for them. And so I believe in servant leadership and to be in this position, as you call it, iconic. When you think about the agency, I call it is doing what I'm supposed to do as of service.
Now the new building was opened in 2003.
2003.
And I only say that because I remember when I went to the Friendly Inn, the address was, I think, 2382. Now it's 2386.
2386.
Yeah, okay. I'm on top of my game. I'm on top of my game. I was just wondering about that. But it's a fabulous building.
Yes, it is.
And
we want to keep it.
We want to keep it. That's right.
But we need dollars to be able to maintain it.
So now let's talk about something that's exciting. Let's talk about the event that's coming up in October.
Yes, October 4th.
October 4th, the 150th celebration. Talk about that. What will it entail?
Well, first,
and how can people find out about it also?
Okay. Well, first of all, I'm excited to say that we were able to identify 3 honorary chairs. And our honorary chairs were either born and raised in Central, lived in Central for a period of time. And so Shakuri Davis from Next Gen Construction is one of our honorary chairs. Pastor Vernon of the Word Church and the Vernon Family Foundation is our other chair. And then our third chair is Judge Michael Ryan. We're very excited to have all 3 of them be able to share their story, their life, and their commitment to Friendly Inn and how it has touched their lives. We have Danita Harris as our Mistress of Ceremonies. We have Footprints with Kevin Conwell, who will be playing our entertainment, live music. And then we're going to recognize folks in the community partners and individuals who we wouldn't be where we are today if we didn't have their support, like the Western Reserve chapter, Ohio chapter of Links. We'll be recognizing them. We'll be recognizing Tremaine Pollard. His award is titled To Be Young, Gifted, and Black. He's a young man that grew up in the community, comes to our agency after school, and had the opportunity to either go to 2 different schools that is going to help him move to that next level. He had the opportunity, I'm not going to name the other school, but the school that he chose was Lutheran East. Okay. And so he's at Lutheran East, but he's with us at least twice a week because he's still part of our youth leadership program. And what I probably didn't mention, Cal, is the fact that a lot of people tend to think that we just serve Central. So some of the programs I mentioned to you serves Cuyahoga County. So we serve all of Cuyahoga County now, not just Central, but Central is our focus. And so we have 2 other community partners that I won't mention because it'll be a surprise for them when they come to the event. But the event is from 6 to 10 on October 4th at the Shoreby Club. And for whatever reason, it has been truly a blessing when I get more and more history about folks, because when we talk about who started Friendly Inn, Mrs. Mather, Flora Mather, started Friendly Inn, but she's also associated with the Shoreby Club, starting the Shoreby Club way back when. And so the Mather family definitely has truly left their footprint on the work that they've done for a lot of nonprofits right here in the city of Cleveland. And so for this event, we're excited. We're expecting 250 guests. And right now, we're sold out.
Wow, that's fabulous.
We're sold out, but we're still taking donations.
Okay.
We do have what we call the 150 Circle. So those who are interested in raising and donating $150 to the organization, representing our 150 years of service, you can still do that at www.friendlyn150.com.
Give me that one more time and we're going to put it on the screen.
It is www.friendlyn150.com.
Okay. That's tremendous. That's tremendous. I know you're looking forward to it. Huh?
Yes, we are.
I know y'all going to be clean too. Thank you so much for being on the show. It's been fabulous.
Well, thank you for having us, and thank you for sharing a little bit of the history that you have.
Yeah.
Because look, I've been trying to find folks, because the one thing I'll tell you, Cal, is that for every person who has told me they had some affinity or affiliation with Friendly Inn, I should get $10 for every person, because then some of the things that we're trying to accomplish would be taken care of at that point in time. So that's the other thing I do want to say to your viewers, is that if you have had any affinity, came up at Friendly Inn, worked at Friendly Inn, and have some pleasant stories to share, one of the things we want to do is take all of that information and create a book that we would like to present next year for our annual event, so that we will mark history. It's one thing to sit and share those stories, but it's another thing when we can put it in a book where other young people can read that book, or other folks who, some of our seniors who have forgotten, oh yeah, that's what it was like back then. I totally forgot about it. We want people to enjoy this book and see all the different stories that people have shared about Friendly Inn while working there, receiving services there, how many people still stay in the community to this day because by choice, and then those who have moved out of the community but want to come back and volunteer.
Again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks to all of you for watching. I'm Cornell Calhoun III for TV20. And remember, if you don't like what's being said, change the conversation.